Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Grzegorz Rosik. I am the Vice President of MIASTOPROJEKT. We are located at WROCław, and I am here to share my experiences with you and what I have learned when carrying out the project as it is listed in the title. I am pleased to see so many of you here. I'm going to be talking about my project with BIM in mind, but I am neither a designer nor an engineer. I would rather turn your attention to managing projects with BIM in mind. A few words about the investment itself. Jakuszycka is an icon at Dolny Śląsk, the southern region of Poland. It is a well-known location. It is a famous skiing resort visited by many skiers throughout the country.
Mam nie dmuchać w mikrofon. Dziękuję. Dzisiaj to miejsce, w którym spotkać można bardzo
also visited by many bikers and hikers.
Miejsce to znane jest, myślę, że również Państwu z tego tytułu, że
Many of you are probably familiar with this place since starting 1978. The Piast running race has been organized at that location. The man at the bottom is the legendary initiator of this first race. He was the brainchild of not only of the race itself, but also of the investment that was implemented at that location. He authored the idea of building a ski resort at that location.
O tym miejscu zwracam uwagę na drugą informację. To jest chyba miejsce na podium, jeżeli chodzi o
This place has a record number of snowy days. The snow accumulation does not melt all the way through April sometimes. That's what I believe the sports center is going to look like. Throughout the years, there have been many attempts carried out at constructing this facility.
Centrum sportowego w tym miejscu.
And today I am proud to see the material phase of this project.
Projektu budowlanego został złożony wniosek o
we have applied for, or the investor applied for the building permit. The environmental approval has been granted and the investment was allocated to carry out this project. This is going to be a sports facility that will be responsible for organizing winter events, especially for biathlon and for cross-country skiing. This center is located at the altitude of 1,000 meters, so I believe this to be the first investment that is going to feature a room with a lower oxygen count for the athletes to get prepared for the events so that they can build up endurance before the actual event.
Można powiedzieć, że projektując ten obiekt, projektanci
The designers were faced with a difficult challenge when working on the drawings for this project. This center should include 4 functions: winter and summer.
Ale oprócz tego obiekt musi być dostosowany do przeprowadzania zawodów.
And it also has to be able to host world-class events. But besides that, it needs to operate on the daily basis. Therefore, it will feature a restaurant, a hotel that will house large numbers of people when the actual competitions begin. This facility also features booths for judges, for referees, for commentators. So the infrastructure posed quite a challenge to the designers. The Dolnośląskie self-government owns this facility, and they are the main donor of this investment. The Marshal's office has a majority package in the investment deal. The Ministry of Sports and Tourism is also one of the sponsors of this project. The ministry called this project having a strategic importance for the development of Polish sports. Therefore, the ministry is going to cover up to 70% of the expenditure. Different athletic associations are featured here that have been proactive in bringing this project into its phase of materialization.
I funkcji stadionu narciarskiego. Dla nich ten projekt ma olbrzymie znaczenie.
This facility will have a very important meaning to many athletic organizations because it will be really top-notch.
Proszę Państwa,
let me tell you briefly how we ended up working with this project. We are an innovative company investing in different facilities for research and innovation in our region.
Wiemy to dzisiaj, że zamawiający dużo myślał, jak przeprowadzić organizację tego.
The contracting party put a lot of thought into organizing this project.
Z realizacji swoich projektów, w związku z tym postarał się.
Different analyses were performed.
Organizacji tej inwestycji, badając swoje zasoby, jakie są ryzyka różnych wariantów
looking at the risk involved.
Inwestycji. Doszedł do wniosku, że najlepszym dla niego rozwiązaniem będzie
and the conclusion that they came to was that the best solution would be based on the full outsourced delivery of this project. This is the first instance of a public procurement opportunity where the investor is placing so much in the hands of one contractor. And along with the responsibility, with that comes responsibility. What the investor wanted to avoid is the dispersion of such responsibility among different subcontractors. So they decided to hire one contractor to carry out the whole initiative. Which is highly innovative.
Realizacji inwestycji. Kolejnym równie ważnym i innowacyjną cechą tego projektu jest zastosowanie technologii BIM.
BIM technology is going to be implemented when delivering this project, and that is also one of the innovative elements, and that's something that brings me here. Here you see a list of the main tasks that the manager of the project is going to have to live up to. When we signed the contract with the investor, we had the conceptual document drafted, but everything else lay on our shoulders. We are responsible for everything that has to do with that project. We are currently actually counting the trees in the area because some of them have to be cut down, which in and of itself is an interesting experience. We have to talk to the local rangers, discussing different environmental issues. We talk to various stakeholders.
Zamierzamy również przeprowadzić cały proces.
And we are going to get the investment launched.
Wykonywaniem przez generalnego wykonawcę swoich obowiązków w okresie gwarancji.
That will also span the warranty period. Let's talk about the tendering procedure itself.
Wybór firmy, która będzie zarządzała tym projektem. A więc zamawiający
The commissioning party placed high requirements on the entities placing their bids, but those are not very different from the typical requirements that are associated with most tendering procedures in Poland.
Lub osobno, jeżeli jest zlecany projekt budowlany na wykonanie dokumentacji projektowej. Z uwagi na bardzo szeroki zakres zadań zarządzającego projektem.
The managing entity is going to have many responsibilities, so the commissioning party required experts to be part of the team hired by the managers. This team was supposed to be made up of 14 members, including a BIM specialist. What followed next was the selection of the best offers based on the right methodology. The contractors in their offer submitted information on what methodology they would use.
Widoczne są na tym slajdzie. Te zadania,
the guidelines on the methodology were broken down into 4 categories.
Każdemu elementowi zamawiający przypisywał maksymalną ilość punktów.
The bidder would fill out the form and specify how they would meet the requirements.
Tej metodyki, która stanowiła bardzo ważne.
Each item on the list would be assigned points by the selecting party.
Jako ciekawostkę powiem, że sam sposób oceny, czy w ogóle umieszczenia tego kryterium oceny ofert w specyfikacji nie budził zastrzeżeń.
This process did not strike the bidders as odd. 4 bidders came up.
Postępowanie prestiżowe, były odwołania w KIO. Nawet sprawa trafiła do sądu okręgowego. Natomiast te odwołania i te pretensje wykonawców nie dotyczyły tematów związanych z
Some bidders resented the selection, and what followed was an administrative litigation suit that has already been completed. All in all, the contractor was selected, and we are part of the consortium that will manage the construction of this sports facility. We are obviously unable to perform this task alone, so we have begun cooperating with the other companies that will now work with us on the implementation of this project.
Jak to robimy?
How are we going to go about things? Every time we get a project launched, we draft a project book, contains all the important information on the project. It contains the instructions covering the very basics of such as who should receive what kinds of emails, to more complex issues and guidelines on how documents should be drafted and archived, how decisions will be made, anything that has to do with managing such a project. This project handbook was completed some time ago and supplemented by the business execution plan, which constitutes a form of an instruction, especially with regard to implementing BIM.
Na tym slajdzie pokazuję, co zawiera BEP.
Here you see what this book contains.
Namawiam wszystkich, którzy zajmują się projektowaniem i potem realizacją projektów w BIM-ie.
I'd like to urge all who get involved in similar projects to make such a list, because it is very helpful in organizing designers from different companies who are used to different standards of work. Luckily, the standards in our environs were very high, but they still needed to be unified. Such a plan brings all standards together.
Doskonałym narzędziem do egzekwowania od uczestników projektu, właśnie od projektantów na tym etapie.
And it makes sure that all stakeholders meet their deliverables.
Sytuacje, w których projektanci
sometimes the subcontractors would want to perform their tasks their own way, but such guidelines them on the right track.
Wskazywał odpowiednie zapisy w tym planie i de facto to
And that would mark the end of discussions. Everything was written in the plan.
Chciałbym
Now I would also like
też zwrócić uwagę na określenie celów projektu
setting your goals
w zakresie celów projektu związanych z BIM. Ten slajd pokazuje trzy wybrane przeze mnie
potential applications of BIM per a project.
My tych przypadków
In fact,
możliwości użycia
we have
BIM-u
analyzed about 20 cases of BIM applications,
z nich nadając
each of them brought a lot of value to the project,
potem na końcu
and we counted
o statucie,
this value, tried to evaluate whether such cases would be used in a given project or not.
Dotyczyło to rzeczy
This applies to, for example, coordination between different industries, but also compliance of documentation with paper documents.
I to oczywiście te z zakresu użycia BIM-u dostawały
the BIM-related ones would get the highest number of scores. So having analyzed about 20 such cases, it turned out that the last point mentioned here had a maybe status 1 month ago, but today the manager actually decided that he wants to carry out such an analysis using VR technology. And therefore the status has been amended to green light. Another crucial element that should be included in your BEP, in your BIM execution plan, are the contents of tables and their standards. The ordering party in specification only stipulated one requirement, saying that the model needs to be carried out in LOD 300. There were no other guidelines as to the standards and so on. And therefore our BIM manager, in cooperation with the main designer, developed a set of guidelines concerning the model. Of course, I am not going to discuss all of them right now. This is not the right place or time. It's rather to tell you and guide you through the optimum form of such a model. Another important topic is about deciding on the channel of communication in your project. We decided that the safest and the most convenient form of communication would be via open universal formats of files, that is IFC and BCF formats. Thus, The exchange of models among particular
procesu projektowego właśnie odbywa się przy
participants
pomocy
took
plików,
place using those
ale również przy
particular
pomocy tych plików
formats.
komunikujemy się
They are
z
also used to
otoczeniem.
share this
Dzisiaj jest
information
to
with the environment.
zamawiający, ale za chwilę mam nadzieję, że będzie to
Hopefully
również
also the general contractor will comply with that.
generalny wykonawca. Tu jest też pokazana informacja o tym, że
All models,
wszystkie modele w każdej
irrespective of their version, are
zapisywane
saved
są
on
na
our
platformie
platform in the
o standardzie CDE,
CDE format, Common Data Environment. In
na
fact,
tej platformie
on the
tak
platform you
naprawdę,
can
po pierwsze, możemy
follow
śledzić postęp pracy
the progress of
poszczególnych
works
osób
by
zaangażowanych w
different
projekt,
parties,
ale to
but that's not
miejsce
all.
stanowi
You can
również
also share
platformę wymiany
information and
informacji
models with
i
others
modeli,
via the platform.
które na bieżąco powstają. Kolejnym elementem,
Another element that should be
który powinien
included
znaleźć
in
się
your BEP
w BEP-ie,
is
to
the
jest
model
plan
verification
weryfikacji
plan.
modeli. Ja może powiem tutaj w tym miejscu tylko to, że
In a nutshell,
koordynuje,
the boss of the bosses in this case is your BIM manager. He is in charge of the compliance of all the models with the plan. And so he or she cooperates with BIM coordinators. Coordinators being persons assigned to particular groups of projects, and they, in turn, are responsible for the application of standards in their areas.
Zawarte w BEP-ie.
I will dwell for just a moment on the role of BIM manager.
Nad tą osobą
He or she
jest
is
odpowiedzialny
in
w projekcie
charge,
za
first of all, of
po pierwsze
developing
BEP-u,
a BEP,
czyli
that is your BIM plan.
planu,
Second of
nad
all,
wdrożeniem
implementation of the
BIM
plan.
planu do
And
życia,
the third of all,
ale również
for
odpowiedzialny jest za
updates
aktualizację tego planu w
during
czasie
the
realizacji inwestycji.
execution phase. I mean, your plan will always be updated, corrected, and amended. And so, BIM manager is responsible for that process. Also, he's responsible for training the members of the team and for quality assurance.
jakościową powstających modeli.
BIM Managers cooperates with BIM coordinators who report directly to him, and BIM coordinators in turn will verify models in their respective teams.
Podobnie jak ma miejsce
We verify the models according to standards, and a similar exercise is performed for flash verification. I think I don't have to tell you more about this. This is by far the most frequently used functionality of BIM.
Może tylko powiem o tym, że
I will limit myself to say that we have 6 models in the project, and all of them are checked against one another. Especially in terms of architecture and structures. Also, the main projects will be confronted with installation design and with one another. In your BEP, you also want to stipulate the frequency of verifications. So, as a rule, we decided that such a verification should be at least every 3 weeks. Following each verification, we will develop a report that will be posted on the platform and serve as a guideline for designers for the following works. It contains all the guidelines, what type of modifications have to be introduced. Like I said, we use this CDE platform, and actually, it would be impossible to carry out the process without such a platform in place. The more functionalities the platform has, the better for you. you can run a log of activity for particular members of the team. You can track who posted which information and when. You can group documents. And importantly, you can also implement workflow processes through this platform, processes that will automate your workload. Another essential element is the following. The processes you want to apply in the project should be described in a proper way. We apply a widespread BPMN format, Business Process Modeling and Notation 2.0. On the market, you can find quite cheap computer programs that will help you create charts and diagrams. Some of them even allow you to post those diagrams to your workflow systems. They will facilitate and automate the flow of documentation and decision-making process. And several remarks about our preparations to construction works. The previous speaker said with some reproach, and rightfully so, that the ordering parties frequently do not specify any requirements concerning BIM. Well, I would like to say the following. We are going to define such requirements, and I think this will be the first project that will have such a wide-scale requirement of BIM, both in the design and execution phase. We started with the cost estimation development. And this table of construction costs was developed much earlier. We have this kind of reversed approach. First, we are trying to visualize the end result. How do we want to conduct the billing of the general contractor? Also monthly billing, change management on your construction site. And having those answers ready, we have come up with this table of construction costs. Right now, this table is embedded into the project. So the BIM manager and the designers are responsible for securing compliance of that table with the actual costs. So it's about assigning particular elements of this model to particular items in your construction cost table. This will make your life much easier when it comes to developing bills of quantities, and it will also facilitate the management of construction works, plus the settlement of costs. Now, how are we going to transpose our experience and into the stage of construction works so as to keep complying with the BIM technology? Well, the answer is as follows. It's not easy. There are many cases. Not many cases for us to follow, not many role models in Poland. And therefore, sometimes we have to sit down and have brainstorming sessions. The point is that the general contractor should come up with their own BEP. They will do that following they have entered into agreement with the ordering party. The scope of BEP, in our opinion, should be governed by the tender agreement and specification. In the specifications to a tender, we would like to specify particular requirements concerning the application of BIM. However, it will be up to the bidders to define how detailed those solutions should be. We are well aware
wiem,
of the
że
fact that
wykonawcy
contractors have
mają różne
various
doświadczenia
types of
również
experiences
w
in
korzystaniu
terms of
z
BIM
technologii
technology
BIM
in
na
the
budowach.
construction
W
process.
związku z tym
Therefore,
nie
we
chcemy
don't want to
narzucać im
impose ready
gotowych rozwiązań,
solutions.
ponieważ sami nie wiemy, jakie tak naprawdę powinniśmy
Rather,
przyjąć.
we
Dlatego,
want
tak
to
jak powiedziałem,
set
chcemy
some
określić
minimum
pewne minimalne
requirements
wymagania, natomiast
and give
chcemy zamawiającym
some
dać
leeway to the
możliwość
contractors, to
zawarcia
the
swoich
ordering
pomysłów, swoich
parties
propozycji
as
w
to their
metodyce,
methodology.
która to metodyka
That
będzie
should be
dołączona do ich
part
ofert
of
i
their
będzie
bids and
podlegała
will be subject
ocenom.
to
Ta
evaluation later
metodyka
on.
wybranego
An evaluation
wykonawcy
of
będzie z kolei
all the
podstawą do
bids
opracowania przez niego
will
BEP-u.
form the
Będzie to
basis
proces
for
interaktywny,
the
tak
ultimate
sobie
BEP.
wyobrażamy, że ten BEP
And
będzie
BEP will be
potem
agreed
uzgadniany
by the winner
z
of
nami
the
jako
contract with us,
zarządzającym projektem, z
with our
naszym
BIM manager,
BIM managerem i potem
so
będzie
that
mógł
it
być
can be
zastosowany w projekcie na etapie
implemented
realizacji
at a later phase, that is the phase
robót
of
budowlanych.
construction works. I
Obiecałem
promised the host that I
organizatorom,
would
że szybciej skończę.
finish a little bit earlier, so I
W związku z
think
tym
I
nie
will
będę
not
tego
go through the
procesu omawiał dłużej,
process,
natomiast
but let me
chciałbym wskazać
indicate some
takie podstawowe rzeczy, które
basic
dzisiaj
issues that I've tried to identify for
zidentyfikowaliśmy,
the
które
ones that can
stanowić
serve
będą
as
wytyczne do
guidelines for developing
metodyki,
the
którą
methodology
chcielibyśmy, żeby
during the
oferenci
bidding
w czasie postępowania
process.
przetargowego na wybór generalnego wykonawcy uwzględnili.
Well, they
To
are
są
quite
dosyć
obvious,
oczywiste
actually.
możliwości
Obvious
zastosowania
applications of BIM technology.
Natomiast, tak jak powiedziałem,
Still, like I said,
pozostawimy oferentom
the bidders will
możliwość
have leeway in
zaproponowania
suggesting the
poziomu
level of
zaawansowania
advancement
i dogłębności
the level of
szczegółowych
detail
rozwiązań.
in their solutions. On a final
Kończąc,
note, let
bardzo
me
podziękować
express my gratitude
kolegom,
to
koleżankom
the company
z firmy
from
ETC za
ETC,
dotychczasową współpracę i za
colleagues from
przygotowanie tej
ETC, sorry,
prezentacji.
also to
Naszym
our
przyjaciołom
colleagues
BIM
and
Clustera,
friends from BIM Cluster in
z
Krakow for
Krakowa
their support
za wsparcie mnie
in the
w
preparation of the
przygotowaniu
presentation.
tej prezentacji.
Also
Również wsparcie
spiritual
mentalne.
support.
Bardzo
Thank you
dziękuję
very
Państwu
much.
za uwagę.